Well, last week we went from an open gravel pad to now a bunch of posts in the ground. So this week should really get interesting. Good morning, guys. So I'm documenting every week of what will become my family's barndominium. And week 2 starts now. There you go, man. That's the first header being put up. So that's how tall the walls will be right there.
That's pretty tall.
Looks like one side is down. Trusses are here. Well, they're getting the headers up and now the trusses are pulling in. Boy, I'll tell you what, not too shabby for a Monday. So these guys got the wall girts up. They got the board down here, which is pressure treated. Not sure what it's called, I forget. Skirt board, I think. Either way, they got it up. They got headers up on all walls. The living area header, they noticed on the plans, needed to be notched in. I don't know if the town required that, but as you can see, it's notched into the post. So there's that. And then, right above me, we've got roof trusses. They did about a little over half of the living area side roof trusses. So said they're coming back tomorrow, finish the trusses, do the barn trusses, which are up there. I don't know how they're gonna get it up there, maybe the forklift, or there's a big boom over there. So that'll be cool to see that. But yeah, then they got the Y bracing. But that gives you a visual of how high the ceilings will be in the shop area. We've got 17-foot ceilings in there. And then the living area, we've got 8-foot. So originally we were going to do 16-foot ceilings in here, but the town made us get at least 2,000 square foot of living area, or not 2,000, 1,200 square foot of living area. So we had to extend this out, and we didn't want one single slope roof from the barn all the way to the living area. So we had to raise that a foot to break it up a little bit, because as you can see now, there will be a little space there. And the roof of the barn or shop area will go over that a little bit, then drop down to this roof pitch, and we'll just break it up a little bit and look better. So that's why we got 17-foot walls in here, which isn't a bad thing. It opens up a lot more flexibility to do stuff in here. Make myself an office up there, or gives you a lot more options. That is gonna wrap it up for day 1 of week 2, and we're right back at it tomorrow. So I'll pick up with you in the morning. Well, good morning, guys. Day 2 of week 2. Here we go. All right, well, they just finished up the trusses over the living area roof. Now it's time for the big ones. All right, so they're using the big boom on the skid steer. This will really give it the final shape of the structure. Like possibly the windows and doors just got here.
The doors and windows are here.
Doors and windows, we ain't messing around.
Doors and windows, we ain't messing around.
Man, these guys are doing work. It is not even 11 o'clock in the morning and they are putting the last roof truss up right now. Also, I want to check out the windows that got delivered as well. Yeah, there's the windows. Can't really see them, but
I feel the screen.
yeah, dude. They must paint the doors black.
Yeah.
All right, so now that the trusses are up, they are connecting them with the purlins. Those are the 2x4s that run down the trusses. So that's just connecting all the tops of them together, stiffen it up. Yeah, so he's temporarily putting those inside braces up, those 2x4s, just so they can take those ones down and start working on the exterior. All right, so it looks like they're gonna start putting some of the plywood sheathing up. Now we are putting sheathing on the living area, not the shop area. So we're gonna do the roof and the walls of the living area. Alrighty, that will be a wrap for today. So they were able to get all the living area trusses up in here, as well as the barn trusses. So that's really cool. Starts giving you an idea of the shape. They also got these front posts in where the garage doors will go in between those, so that gives you an idea of how big the garage doors will be. Well, that's how wide. Tall, they still got to put the headers above, but looking good. Two nice big doors. Those are going to be 12 foot wide by 14 foot tall. So got those tied in, and then they didn't finish sheathing the roof of the living area. And he told me they were taking the 45 supports on the outside down, and he put these up on the inside. They're all prepped and ready to go to start siding it, start doing the roof as well, he said. So moving right along on this. Another thing they did was on the eaves, you can see they connected the 2x6s. You can see that one doesn't have it yet, but right there and down. So freaking awesome, man. Starting to really look like something. So like I said earlier, we decided to do wall sheathing as well as roof sheathing on the living area portion. Shop is just going to get Tyvek'd, and the siding will just go right over that, and then the spray foam will go right against the Tyvek. So there will be no sheathing over there. But for the living area, we wanted to tighten it up a little bit. That's getting in that. So I was a little nervous earlier, like I said, that these doors were white, but the interiors are white. So the other side of these doors are black, and that goes for the windows as well. So from the inside, That's what the windows will look like from the outside. Can't really see, but they're black. There's a screen in that one, but I'll have the sharp modern look from the outside, but the bright look on the inside. So looking good. That is going to do it for day 2 of week 2. So I'll pick back up with you in the morning. Good morning. We have some stagnant, humid air this morning. One thing I didn't mention yesterday is they put these front posts in, as you can see, for the shop area. That's because the doors are big enough where the skid steer can get through and do final grading before they start prepping for concrete and stuff. He said they're holding off on these 2 posts for the living area because he said they won't get this skid steer in here, but they've got a little stand-on mini skid that they can fit through here without the posts in. He said if the posts in, it'll be a little too tight. So they're going to put those in after they do final grading in here. And I think that's the only thing I missed yesterday. So we are jumping to day 3 of week 2 right now. Looks like roofing just pulled in. Alrighty, well, roofing and siding was dropped off, so we are gonna go check that out. Yeah, that's sweet, so they'll just pop it in. That's a good color though, I think. Vinyl soffits, black roofing. I don't know, it doesn't seem too glossy to me. I mean, it's a little bit of a shine to it, but...
Yeah, but not much.
So we went back and forth on the color of siding to get, and tossed and turned doing the charcoal gray or the black, but just kind of starting to wonder if that's kind of a trendy thing, and then in 10-15 years it'll just kind of be outdated and there'll just be a bunch of dark black charcoal houses around. So we really liked white with black trim, so we decided on, it's called bone white, so it's not completely bright white, it's kind of a offish white with some lighter gray undertones, and then all the trim, everything, soffits, fascia, gutters, trim around the windows, doors, all that's gonna be black. So we just figured that's kind of more of a timeless decision. You can't really go wrong with white siding. It's something that'll pretty much never go out of style, I think. So just timeless. And then we figured for the modern touch to it, you get all black accents and trims, and I think it'll look sharp in the end. And another thing we were up in the air about is going with a matte finish, but we ended up just going with the standard just for cost savings. So there might be a little bit more of a shine to it, but I don't know, we're not too worried about it. In the end, pretty sure we'll be happy with it, so that's all that matters. Well, it looks like they're putting on some type of like black vapor barrier. Seems to be like a peel and stick something. I'm assuming that's going on before the metal roof goes on. So on top of the sheathing before the metal roof goes on. My main point of contact for the builder just called me and said he's meeting the code enforcer here, just so the code enforcer can look over things and make sure everything looks good, I guess. So hopefully that'll be all good. Good morning, guys. Well, it's been exactly a week since they started. Yesterday I was kind of busy and didn't really get too much footage, but luckily for my sake it was just kind of finicky stuff and the whole thing didn't really change too much. They did finish the sheathing over top of the living area, he explained to me that you can see there's different color stuff up there. The bottom 3 feet, 36 inches, needed something different, and then the rest of it's just tar paper that's going down before the roofing. And then the barn area portion is not getting sheathing, but it is getting this stuff down here. So the siding and roofing did come yesterday. Before that goes down, this is gonna go down. It's called Thermagard. He did mark out all the windows and doors just to make sure where all the posts went in, that those held out, and they did. So he's got them all roughly marked out. Man door, and then all the windows in the living area. Doing no windows in the shop portion, but we do have a man door going out this way. So, one other thing he told me is the center island of posts between the 2 overhead doors. There is 3 inches more of a space there than right here. So this is 3 inches less. That's 3 inches more. And was saying it's easiest to move them now rather than later. So if I'm not gonna like that spacing, we should move it now. And I was just kind of like, 3 inches, I don't think that's gonna make that big of a deal. But at that same time, the owner was here, Johnny, and he came right over and said, I think we should move him. He said once you get the exterior lights up there, you know, 3 inches doesn't sound like much, but it makes it a little more noticeable when you got lights in there. He said, I think we should move them, which, you know, that requires a little more work for them, and for him to come over and say that, that's pretty cool. Just to make it right. So they actually put those posts in per the drawing. So it's not like they did it wrong, but aesthetically speaking, it makes sense to move it now and just make them match. So pretty sure they're gonna do roofing today, because they said they really like to get that up and stiffen everything up. He said usually the chance of the building falling over is greatly reduced once the roof's up, because it holds everything together good. So that is where we're at, 1 week into this build, and things are looking good. I've got a little more running around to do today, but hopefully I'll be able to get some footage of them. All right, well, it looks like we have started to put roofing on the barn. You can see they're putting that Thermagard down first, then the roofing. All right, well, they're gonna keep rolling on that. We actually gotta go close on our loan, so we will come back and see where we're at then. It is absolutely scorching today, and these poor guys are doing a black metal roof. Yeah, that is nice. So it must be like a 25-foot section. Looks good though. Got all that on the barn. Looks good. Man, that stuff's gotta be hot. Alrighty guys, end of the day, Thursday, July 2nd. So we are exactly 1 week into this build, and we made some fantastic progress. So I'm standing under our living area here, and they got it all sheathed, the vapor barriers on, same with the roof, that's all on. So when we come into the shop, we've got half of the roof on. So they got the Thermagard on underneath, and then the metal roof on this side of the shop. Tomorrow, they're putting the thermogard and the metal roof on this side of the shop. So, looking very good. Tomorrow morning is July 3rd, and they're coming back to do up here. But we are going out of town for the holiday weekend, so we will not be back until Sunday. So I'm not going to be able to get any of the footage up here, but pretty much going to be the same as this. So it's actually timing, it works out really well. But we're going to close out video 2 of this series, and we will pick back up with video 3 on Monday. So I will catch you guys then.